Ready to embark on a journey of limitless curiosity? Join us on the Being Curious Show, where we curiously connect teachers and seekers in a safe space, exploring a vast array of topics that spark the flame of curiosity within you. We've created a community for thoughtful discussions where teachers share their wisdom and seekers explore the depths of their curiosity. It's a space where diverse perspectives come together, fostering connection and understanding. Our intention is simple: to ignite your curiosity and create a life that totally lights you up. Hello, beautiful ones. It is Kelly back in the Being Curious Show. Today, I have a dear friend of the Edge, Gail Lynn, back with us. And today we're going to talk about how do we keep our vibration high? There's so much going on right now in the world, here, there, and everywhere, like seriously. And even yesterday, I had just this day of just off the rails. And of course, nothing was horrible. It was not like I found out a loved one lost their life or their job or their home, or there was nothing catastrophic, but everything was hard. Technology was hard. I missed a meeting with a dear friend. It was just like the struggle. So when Gail and I were thinking about what we should talk about with our show today, she was like, I got you. Here we go. This is going to be a good one. Before I bring her onto the stage, she is going to be one of the most amazing, powerful speakers at the Conscious Life Expo that is coming up in a couple weeks in Los Angeles. And she's going to be doing two different sessions. One is going to be on music and color as medicine, like, right. And then the next is going to be designing the hospital of the future. Now, I'm a girl that spent 17 years in healthcare, so I really, really, really wish I could teleport into both of her presentations, but I'll definitely be there in spirit. Gail Lynn, welcome to the show.
Oh my gosh, you're so kind. You're way too kind. I'm not one of the most powerful speakers there. Actually, I didn't realize how much it was to get into that expo. And then there's some speakers that's extra money to even go see their talk. I'm a freebie. If you got a ticket, I'm a free talk.
That hotel, are you staying at the hotel or are you staying nearby?
Your advice to me was that the energy there is so much, and you know how sensitive I am. So you told me to stay off site if I could. So we are going to be walking across the street to another hotel at the, well, I won't mention the hotel because I'm not going to plug them. But yeah, we were staying across the street, and everybody will know that's there where we're staying. But I just felt like you were right. I'll have to go and clear my energy. There's going to be a lot of stuff there. I'm gonna do a gold ball exercise with everybody during my lecture so that they can clear all that energy, because we're gonna be walking around like Swiss cheese. We're gonna be hugging people. It's great. I can't wait to meet so many people, but hugging them and giving our energy away to each other. And we're gonna be interacting. I'll probably interact with thousands of people. So we have to make sure we keep our energy to not be Swiss cheese. So we don't have a bunch of holes in us and we're walking around solid. So I'm going to do a gold ball exercise with everybody at the beginning of my lecture.
Last year was my first year, and it's powerful and it's amazing. And there's so many great connections. There's just you walk in the door and you're like, whoom, oh, I'm at the Conscious Life Expo. like let's go. And I actually went to the concierge last year, I think after my second day, and I was like, you guys should tell the people that are not at the expo what's going on, because you see these people that are in the lobby and they just don't know what to do with everything that's going on, and they're feeling it, but they don't know how to process it. And it's just this interesting, powerful and amazing. And the vendors and the speakers that are coming in from all over the world, I mean, it is a top-notch amazing experience. It's just buckle up, buttercup. It's you gotta go.
Well, I got my list because I know Elizabeth April, so we're going to connect and get a hug from each other, but she's usually got a line out the door for her talks. I've talked to her about my new Sahu oil, Harmoniously You, which we'll talk about. Yes. So she's talking high vibe stuff. So we're going to connect. I want to meet George Norrie because we connected so lovingly on the Coast to Coast radio show. And we both grew up in Dearborn, Michigan. So I know he'll remember me from the show. I would love to connect with Sarah Breckman and Sasha Stone. I made my list, so I got my wish list. There is a speaker evening event for all the speakers.
Yeah.
I don't know who will show up, but I'm going to show up and see if I can make some of my connections with these lovely people who have been influencers for me and teachers for me, just to at least say hello to them.
That's beautiful. And by wearing your speaker badge, it's just a different, like, you can fangirl in a little different way. Right? I was in the elevator with Elizabeth April, and I didn't even know who she was. Hello, Elizabeth. But she was just this beautiful little blonde soul that I think I read on the elevator like 3 or 4 times. And I think like the last time I just kind of looked at her and I was just like, there was something with her. Like I just could kind of tell. I was really protecting myself in the elevator so it wasn't Kelly just like woo. And then I remember she got out and my friend was there and she just was like, "You were just in the elevator with Elizabeth April." And I was like, "Uh-huh. She looks like a really nice person." And then I saw her speech and there was a line, like cray cray line, like so people were really excited about it. So, well, I hope to connect with Elizabeth outside of the elevator someday.
Yeah, she's adorable. She came to the Santa Clarita, California egg location when we set them up, and I was there to do training. And they said, "Elizabeth April's coming. Oh my God. Oh my God." And they had a little gift for her. And I was like, "Who is this Elizabeth April chick?"
Yeah.
I don't know who she was. But now I become a fangirl of hers because she has some amazing talks and she does remote viewing and she really puts out some really wonderful information that makes you think. And, if somebody can make me think, then I'm a fan.
I also love how she says, "Check out what I'm saying." Like you don't have to believe anything I'm saying. This is just my perception. This is what I'm getting. And I really respect someone in the world bringing the information out that they're bringing that is doing it without ego. That really is. And she has a lot of viewers and she has a community and she could easily and I think this is going to be one thing segueing into our living a high vibrational life. She comes across very humble and very much like check it out, you guys. I'm just here to share, and you're very very similar with that. And you've created so many. I think about egging, and I'm just like, oh, I just want to go egg. I just want to go egg. And even when you and I talked about the oils, which we'll definitely touch on in a couple moments, I was like, oh, well, I want to oil up before I egg next. Like, oh my gosh. Like, and then you started to, okay, we have to talk, but let's just talk about the oils now because I'm teasing everybody. You've just launched a line of oils. Let's talk about them.
So it's just one oil. Sahu Oils is an essential oil brand that I really have come to love because I love that they're cold pressed oils from Egypt with a company that's well over 100 years old. And they take the oils into the sarcophagus chamber. They take them up, into the king's chamber and they bless them. Okay, I love essential oils, but there are some essential oils we all know are just crap. And the problem is that people don't know. Frankincense is not frankincense. Myrrh is not myrrh. And so people buy these oils and they have allergic reactions. And I've worked with medical doctors over the years and they said, no one should have allergic reactions to some pure oils like this. But of course, if you add a filler, they could have an allergic reaction. But then the problem is they give the oil industry a bad name and they go, I had a rash or I had an allergic reaction. And then people go, oh my God, I don't want that. But they're not understanding that they're not buying pure oils. They're buying things with fillers in them. So we have to be really discerning. I think that's the word of the year. And it was for last year. Discern. I mean, we have to use our intuition. We have to start listening to our bodies. If your body, everybody should learn how to do the tilt test. I mean, people do muscle checking, but you need 2 people to push your arm down This one where you do that. I mean, if I say I want chocolate, oh yeah, I do. I want chocolate. Yep. Tested for me to have chocolate. I'm going to cheat on the test. But the tilt test, you put chocolate next to you and you either rock forward, as long as your polarity is correct, or you rock backwards. So forward is a yes, backwards a no. As long as you learn your body, you can do the tilt test pretty easily, and you can test some of these oils and see if they're right for you, because not everything is a one size fits all. But I wanted to bring in the energy and the wisdom of the harmonic egg into a sacred oil for people to be empowered, for them to feel like they can connect to their higher self and that they can move through life with ease and grace. And for me, lilac and lantana are my go-to plants. And I believe they have roots in Egypt. So when he said Egyptian cold pressed oils, I was on board. And so Sahu Oils is doing the harmonically you, sorry, oil. We just launched it. It's already selling like crazy. And I don't know another essential oil with lantana and lilac, but if you look at those plants, they survive the winter. I have my lantana plant inside the house, but it froze last year. I'm like, oops, bring it in the house, water it, nurture it. It comes back. The lilac bush is outside and it's been outside all winter. It will come back. The strength and the endurance and how it combines with nature. Like, who wouldn't want that energy of these kind of plants? And then we put blue lotus in and lavender as well.
I mean, like, really? And you live
Yeah.
in Colorado. Like, this isn't just like where you're like in Tennessee where you're like, "Ooh, we might get a little frost or we might get like this or that." I mean, it's cold.
It was negative 15 a couple nights ago.
Yeah.
And that's okay, and I love nature. And I think if we're going to be high vibe, we need to discern what will keep us high vibe. For me, going into the egg, being out in nature. And then my latest kick is the Alan Watts lectures. He's a philosopher from way back when.
Yeah.
And I just love his analogies. Like, my favorite one is about the ego. And I was listening to it. He said, this is your ego. And if you picture your parent, say your dad's driving the car and you're a little kid and you've got your little toy steering wheel, this is you trying to control life, It's like you got this little toy. And a visual for me was hilarious. I could see myself, I'm in control of life and I've got my little toy steering wheel, but someone else is driving, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna park the car. Here we go.
My steering wheel is not doing a damn thing. I'm driving this little, toy steering wheel. And I love his analogies. He talks about water. You get into water and how do you grab a hold of water? Like, you can't grab a hold of water. You're not in control. And for a control freak like me, I just love listening to his lectures. So every day I listen to some of his lectures.
I love it. And for a control freak man like me, I have my little toys.
I'm in control.
You're totally in the control, everybody. Don't tell, but I'm in control. So going back to the high vibe and our intention, there is because we're a couple weeks past or actually we're a week past the inauguration. Oh my gosh, it feels like Trump's been in office for like a couple weeks for everything that this administration is doing, hitting the ground running, whether you are supportive of it or not. There's a lot going on. And what are you doing? So talk about not only the egg, not only the oils and getting outside, but what are you doing? Like yesterday, you shared pre-show that you were trying to go grocery shopping in a short amount of time, and it just was like my day of. So what do you do?
Yeah. So for me to stay high vibe, I screw my future self. I screw myself every day because I try to get too much done. I'm an overachiever, type A personality, perfectionist. So yesterday I had this bright idea that I was going to run 5 errands in 30 minutes. Okay. I got knocked out of high vibe pretty quickly because that's unrealistic with traffic, with, other human beings. I try to support the humans, but, sometimes it's just hard. And so I got to the grocery store. I'm in the self checkout line because the cashier lines. There's what makes me laugh. There's 50, or maybe not 50. Let me not exaggerate. There's 15 checkout lanes. Not one of them is open with a cashier. I'm sorry, one of them was open, but everybody in that line had 300 items.
Right.
And so I have 5 items. I go to the self checkout. It doesn't work. The people who are manning the self checkout are having some kind of a party on their own. They're not helping anybody. And so I have this time schedule, right? And the coupons aren't accepted and it's not scanning. And I'm like, I'm hitting the call attendant button and I'm like, oh my God, I have a deadline. Okay. I screwed myself. I got out of high vibe because I had unrealistic expectations. That's one of the things that you do as a human to throw yourself out of high vibe. Unrealistic expectations. You stress yourself out and you drop yourself out of high vibe.
Yeah.
So I finally got the attendant to come over and I said, why is there just one line open? I'd rather go see a cashier and have a human interaction. And she's like, well, we're understaffed. Like, don't yell at me. That wasn't really yelling. I said, I wasn't yelling at you. I know you just work here. Forget it, you know? And so she couldn't figure out the coupons, finally got it done. But you know the saying, you get so angry you can't see?
Yeah.
So I looked at the screen and I had an optical migraine and I'm like, great. I really screwed myself. I should have just given myself more time and let things flow. But unfortunately, I'm human as well. And I didn't do that. So I screwed myself. And that's what we do. We really are our own worst enemies. And so I had to just go in my car. I took my Migra tea pill and I just sat there, took some deep breaths, and then it was fine. But I couldn't drive because I couldn't see. So I had to sit there and just be with myself, be present in the moment. I got my vibe back. And then the rest of the day was fine. But I shouldn't have really had to do that if I was practicing what I preach. But I didn't.
Yeah. I know, but you had 35 minutes and you had 5 errands to do, and you were like, "Oh, I can map out this, and if I'm in every single location, 4 minutes, and I'm gonna do this and that, and then I'll get in the car, and then I'll make every green light because that's what we'll do, and then we'll do this, this, this," and then we're like, "Oh, yay, I got my things done."
And it did. It was great. I picked up the logos. I got gas. I stopped and picked up another order. Everything was flowing. It was going great. It was the self-checkout wasn't working. I'm like, that wasn't supposed to happen. I hit all the green lights. I took the fastest route. I didn't speed. Everything was flowing. I didn't get upset with anybody in traffic. It was so beautiful. I'm like, this is great. I should have really just been more appreciative of everything that did go right, but not me. Scorpio.
Gratitude, that just really came in, like, during this time of just everything going on, just holding that, like, even going to the Conscious Life Expo and going into that a hotel where the energy is just intense. There's just such a frequency of gratitude there, like, right?
I'm so excited. I'm so excited because I was thinking really hard, what kind of a workshop do I want to do? What will be different? What will people be excited about? What can they go home and feel like I can make a difference? I can do one thing to support this workshop and I decided, let's create the hospital of the future. What does that look like?
Can you give us a little tease on it? Because I would love to hear what you have to say.
We are going to do this together in the workshop, and I am so excited to see what ideas come up, but I'll give you a couple teasers. A garden to sit in. Being accepted in with open arms and love when you walk into a hospital, not the sterility of it, not, oh, what's your social security number and what's your dollar amount? Who are you? What do you do for a living? Like being accepted and open arms with love. And animals, dogs being there to help support the healing. And then individual rooms where you can go get an infrared sauna and it's covered by insurance because this is where the hospital of the future needs to go. And Harmonic Egg session, so those are the little teasers, but can you imagine just that little bit of energy, trees outside, bench to sit on, a garden to sit in, maybe some fresh herbs to pick. And, while you're waiting, just that energy, we need to create that loving, beautiful energy where, disease can't really exist there. People are just going to go to the hospital just to hang out, even if they're not sick.
Yeah. My aunt just recently passed, and she was a nurse, an oncology nurse for, I think, like, 35 years, and when her peers found out that she was in hospice, the love that was outpoured, and I had lunch with my uncle the other day, and we actually brought my aunt in, and she was so her transition was so beautiful because of all the love that she had from him and his girls and the staff, and I mean, there's I think there's pockets within hospitals and healthcare that there is those that love, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how do we, like, it doesn't have to be just at a children's hospital. So I tell the audience I used to sell medical equipment, and Minneapolis Children's Hospital. I was waiting um, to meet with a client, and this lady and this dog came in, and I forgot the name, but she had her own little business card. And the dog was allowed to be, with kids before they went under anesthesia and then come out. And I just was like, "Well, I wanna if I have to have anesthesia, I want a dog to come and hang out with me." And it just
Yep.
was I think healthcare is getting it right in certain little pockets and little bubbles, but how do we make it so you don't get the white coat syndrome the minute you walk in and you're all nervous and you're this, but you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna be nourished, I'm gonna be taken care of, I'm gonna be loved, and it's gonna be okay." And, oh my gosh, could you imagine while you're healing rather than just sitting there watching TV? Yeah, like, I'm gonna go to a salt room and hang out and meditate, or I'm gonna go have an egg session, or I'm gonna have some aromatherapy, or I'm gonna have a massage. So when I had my daughter, I wanted to have a massage. My mom's like, "You can't have a massage in the hospital." And I'm like, "Oh, heck, I can't.
Why
I'm gonna
not?
do that. Like, why not? Like, you're just sitting there. Okay." So I think that I see you in the room just coming up with all of these beautiful ideas and really co-creating with the gosh, I wish we could get some hospital administrative people to show up to your event and just take notes. So there.
Well, that's what I do. I want to try to figure out how do I capture all the notes. So I've got sticky notes I'm bringing and flip charts, and so we can capture all this so
Yeah.
that I can type it all up and maybe we can share it with hospital administrators. And I mean, think about going to the pharmacy, but it's an apothecary, it's an herbalist you're going to, and you're going to get lemon balm and licorice root and valerian root instead of Valium.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it. I see it like I can see the blue sky out my window right now. This is where we're going to go. And I want to bring together the energy at the Conscious Life Expo to help manifest this. And I think that's the great place to do it.
That's fantastic. Oh my goodness. There's a hospital in Minneapolis that I loved at sunset because of the way they had the lighting all throughout the house. And I would just purposely set up end of day calls there so I could just sit in the lobby and feel the natural. I love when they have the natural light. The natural light is so soothing and so needed. I mean, just the oh goodness, yes. So, oh, I will be there in
Yeah.
spirit, and yes, record that. That's gonna be a great session.
Yeah, they're not recording anything. So I brought a tripod. So I have to get somebody to like actually record it. But we definitely are going to take notes and try to share that with people after. But yeah, I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. As we need to wrap up in probably the next 5 to 10 minutes, what's a message that you'd like to share with our audience, with people that are really struggling right now, um, or people that are just actively every day doing everything they can to stay as high vibe as possible?
Well, I think we said a few things, but I think one of the things is that we have to be patient with ourselves. We can't be doing so much that we're stressing ourselves out because that's just going to bring down our vibe. It's going to make us cranky. It's going to, make us snap at our partners, spouses, our family members. So I think that we just need to have realistic expectations of our day. I mean, we're especially in the United States. In Europe, they're a little more chill. I know in Peru, they're very chill. So, but in the United States, we just got to go, 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 go. We want a quick fix. We want, a quick pill. We want a magic pill. We want a magic shot. We want a quick, we want our hamburger in 5 minutes, even though it tastes terrible and it's not good for us, but it's like, go, 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 go. Like after this podcast, I'm going to go and make my lunch and I made some beautiful steaks for my boyfriend the other night. And if you're not a meat eater, that's okay. I still love you, but I love my meat. I'm an O blood type and I love my meat. I'm a hunter gatherer. So I'm going to enjoy that. And I'm going to sit down and try to eat with, gratitude and love. And it's hard for me because I just want to be on my computer and just eating and texting or eating and emailing because the things keep piling up.
Yeah.
So I'm in the process of training myself because if you get out of this high vibe, things don't flow. So then things are harder and harder. So if you stay in the high vibe, things just flow and everything's smooth. And you don't really believe that until you do it. When you meditate, you get these ideas. But if you just keep going and you don't stop and you don't do your self-care, then it takes you twice as long and it's twice as hard to do it. But if you can stay in the present moment and you can work within the confines of having realistic expectations, I think you can stay high vibe all the time. But it is very, very hard. And it's like a muscle. You have to train yourself. You have to, it's like going to the gym and getting muscles. You don't just go to the gym and you got a 13-inch bicep, right? It takes time. It takes training. So the brain is a muscle, the heart is a muscle, everything's a muscle, and there's muscle memory. So you have to train yourself to stay in that high vibe. And do not beat yourself up when you go to the grocery store and you get angry and lose your vision because you had unrealistic expectations. I didn't beat myself up. I sat in the car, I leaned the chair, the seat back, took some deep breaths, and I realized the error of my ways and why it happened. But it was also my body talking to me. Yeah. And kind of saying, you know what, that wasn't really good for you to do. And let's just show you that this is what can happen. And over time, if I don't listen to my body, it could get worse and worse and worse. Like in my documentary, It's Time, we say, if you don't listen to the whispers, you get the nudges. If you don't listen to the nudges, you get the hammer. That was a whisper yesterday. Hey, there's a saying that goes, you get so angry, you can't see straight, and that's what happened. And I just have to get that anger and say, okay, I had an unrealistic expectation. And this is the message, the little whisper from my body. I paid attention to it. It passed pretty quickly, but I don't want the nudge and I don't want the hammer. So I'm going to listen to the whisper.
That's beautiful. Okay. You have a lot going on. Not only do you have the launching of the new oil, you have eggs flying out the door all over the world. You have your beautiful documentary called It's Time. How many views are you up to? Because I know your goal is for 100 or 1 million views, where you've got to be getting close.
No, God, we're not. We're probably close to 200,000.
That's close enough. No, I'm just kidding. Everybody needs to go watch it.
Yeah. It's a long ways away, but I knew it would take time. But it's time for people to do things with less judgment, more love and gratitude, more kindness. And so I know that it's happening. There's a lot going on in the world. People are being pulled in so many different directions. I do not watch the news. My boyfriend gives me a recap of every I'm going to be not judgmental. Everything going on in politics, whether it's good or bad, to whoever's opinion it is. He gives me a little recap. This is what happened today. This is what's being said. This is what's being done. This is what's being tried. And I go, okay, but I don't watch the news. I'm not going to turn it on. I am going to stay in my place of high vibe to try to influence the energy of the world. And I really want people to just be in a place of flow. It's going to work out. It always does.
Right.
It always works out. We just have to let things flow, not be angry with each other, treat each other with love and kindness. And eggs are flying off the shelves because people want this kind of healing. They want non-invasive healing. We just sold 2 to Panama. The contract was signed last night, 1 to Portugal. So 2 places we've never had eggs before, going to hit the land there. And then we have another one going into Michigan, another one going into California. That's, several already there. But and the land is ready for it. For a long
Yeah.
time, the East Coast didn't adopt this. And for a long time, the state of Michigan, where I'm from, didn't adopt it. And the land is ready everywhere now for this kind of energy. So it's really beautiful. It's really lovely. I'm really blessed. Um, my boyfriend keeps saying no new projects because I'm writing the second book, which is going to be
Right.
kind of about the documentary. And he's like, no new projects. I can't. There's too many projects that need to be done. I got to help the world.
You're doing a great job. And I do have this. This is her first book, Unlocking the Ancient Secrets to Healing. You got to have it. It's just fantastic. And go to harmonicegg.com, find an egg, be curious, find one, just experience it. I can't endorse eggs more. I think I've had the opportunity to be in 4 or 5 of them, I forget. And they're all different, but they're all the same in this beautiful way. And your egg ambassadors are just amazing, amazing souls. If you watch the Edge social media, you'll see these beautiful egg owners popping in and getting in their egg and promoting their centers, and it's an honor to be able to do that. And then your documentary is, I think it's 50 or 51 minutes. And if you guys haven't heard about sitting with bees, that's all I'm going to say as a little teaser. But I want to go hang out with some bees. That's what I'm saying on that one. And you had Reiki done by somebody. I think you were in Sedona. And even though you're filming, and I knew you were filming and you weren't having this session, you can feel it. You can feel it happening. Like, oh my goodness. And if you don't believe in this stuff or these modalities, well, sit on it. Give it a try. Because, oh my gosh. And this kept floating above your head while you were speaking, and I think, people being angry or excited. If we just lean into each other and we give each other the benefit of the doubt, and we give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and know that there's two sides to every story, and breathe, and and know that most people really wanna be good and they wanna do the right thing. It's so powerful and when you take that step back and just go, "Okay," rather than just jumping and assuming and believing information that might not be pure or correct or whatever you wanna call it, and just believe there's two sides to every story. That was something that you just had glowing over your head, and I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to say and fuse in the two sides to every story into our conversation."
No, it's so true. I always say there's three sides to every story.
Ooh, tell me about
There's,
that.
well, there's three sides to every story. So if you and I had a story,
Yeah,
what you understand, what I understand would be different than what's really true because it comes from our life experiences.
yeah.
And so it's also like whispering something in someone's ear and then it gets to the last person and it's something completely different. I have these situations happen all the time. This is hilarious. My mom was on Bowling for Dollars. I don't know if you remember the show.
That's awesome.
Okay, so my mom was on Bowling for Dollars years and years ago. It was probably we want to say maybe it was the late 70s. I can't find
Yeah,
the show. They have archived them and you can't find it anymore. Now, my brother uh, has one recollection of what happened. I told him, I said, I didn't go because my mom told me I could go take a day off of school and I could go to the show because there's a chance of a lifetime. She was on Bowling for Dollars. She did not get the strike. She got 9. And I said, I want to go to school. I never missed a day of school. I had perfect attendance all the time. And so I didn't want to go. My brother wanted to miss the day of school. I remember seeing the TV clip. I remember my brother, my dad, and my grandma being in the audience. And that's what I remember in my head. So that's my story. My
yeah.
brother's story was my grandmother watched him. My dad went to work and he did not take a day off of school, but my grandma was there when he got out of school and he came home from school and my grandma was there to watch him. My aunt says, your dad took the day off of work. Your grandma could not take the day off of work because she worked at the bakery and she was still working her full-time job.
Right.
And she believes that my brother and my dad went to the show. One of those stories is right, but which one?
Maybe all of
Why do
them.
we all remember it differently, right? Why did we all remember it differently? They can't all be true unless there's alternate timelines and they were all true, like you said. So we experience this stuff all the time, and it makes me laugh so hard. And I love when this happens because it makes people think, what is the reality? What really happened? Was it all just an illusion? And what would my mom have said if she was still alive today as to what happened? I was trying to get the TV clip so I could prove to myself that they were definitely, I said, you had your Looney Tune shirt on, that brown and yellow Looney Tune shirt. You were sitting in the audience. I saw it. I mean, that's what happened, but not to him and not to my aunt. So what really happened?
Oh, we've got to find the clip. If anyone out there has the clip.
If you can find the bowling scholars clip, Nancy Cathan was her name. And yeah, and they said that they have them in archive, but there's no way to get to them. There are a couple of clips on YouTube from some of the participants that were there. I don't know who put them out there, but I couldn't find my mom's. Yeah.
Okay. Bowling for dollars. How do you want to part today?
Gosh, I think we already tried to part once. We can part again now. You know us, when we get to going,
Anything's
I would just
possible.
say, looking forward to anybody who's coming to the Conscious Life Expo. Come check it out. I'm very excited that my lecture and my workshop is not the same time as like Sasha Stone's or Elizabeth April or Sarah Breckman, because that's too much competition for me. But hopefully if you're there, come see me, come shake my hand, come give me a hug. I'm looking forward to the show. I'm looking forward to seeing all the vendors and all the different ideas and all the stuff that's going to kind of get into my head for new projects. So I'm just excited. I'm leaving next week and I'm just really excited about it. So I'll look forward to meeting the people that can be there.
It's going to be amazing. Okay. Gail Lynn of the Harmonic Egg and many other things. Thank you for being a part of our show. Be well.
Can you harm yourself using energy medicine? The answer is yes. Gail Lynn, the creator of the Harmonic Egg products for commercial and home use, has been involved in the field of energy medicine for the past 15 years. In her experience, Gail has witnessed cases where people have faced negative consequences due to the improper use of energy medicine. Some individuals did not allow the sessions to integrate properly or exposed their bodies to beneficial energies for extended periods, leading to harmful effects. This can cause the body to go into a defense, flight, or fight mode, creating confusion within the body despite the positive nature of the energy. There is also the potential risk of hiring a wounded healer who may unintentionally hurt their clients. For those reasons and more, she is committed to educating people about the safe and appropriate use of energy medicine. For those interested in learning more, Gail provides videos, articles, and other resources at harmonicegg.com. Contact her directly at info@harmonicegg.com to find out about safe and effective energy